The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Coaches Show brought to you by Las Casas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, farm supplies, and more. Joining me here is Coach Ben Caudill, the head coach of the Stewarts Creek Redhawks, who a lot of these games last night were very, very close. A lot of the games. Your game, though, was not. And I know a very impressive win over Hillsboro last night. And you had some players that some familiar names are starting to pop up every week. And let's start with number one, it was a shutout. So defensively, I know you had to be pleased for the most part with that performance.
Oh, very, very much so. And I'm really glad you brought up our defense first because, they really played well. We had 30 yards of penalties that were, equipment penalties. And, I wrote down everything that I was told in the coaches meeting, and we still got, 2 different 15-yard flags. And so, some of the yards we gave up in field position, especially in the first half and the third quarter, were, really not even a result of how our defense played. And, really proud of our defensive line and our front seven. We've, tinkered a few things since the first 2 games, I think, that have really given us the ability to play a little bit faster and a little bit stronger at the point of attack. And, for the third week in a row, Taj Rosebur's gotten a pick. He's gotten 4 turnovers in the first 3 games, and last night was the best one yet. It went to pay dirt, and so he was able to have a pick 6 there in the third quarter early on that started the running clock for us.
I know with a running clock, it gives you an opportunity. I know it goes by fast, but it gives you an opportunity to work on depth a little bit too, doesn't it? When you can get a game like that, because games like that don't happen to any football team often, where you can get a chance to look at some younger kids maybe.
Oh, without question. And we only had about 40 snaps on offense, and obviously lost a possession with the pick 6, which is a great problem to have. And we were able to get a lot of guys in. We've only played 1 JV game so far, which has been very unusual, and we've kind of had to go out of the county to make up, some of the games that we haven't been able to play. So it was a great night for us to, give those guys reps that have been working hard, giving our varsity reps all week long.
We had some performers that I'm going to talk about that stood out. Caleb Floyd, 11 carries for 85 yards. Now, that's a lot of yardage for just 11 carries. I mean, 85 yards. That's what, an average of about 7 yards a carry.
Yeah, Caleb's, he's a threat. Carrying the ball, he's a threat. Catching the ball, he's a threat on kickoff. He's a threat at inside linebacker. He's on punt. He's, just a tremendous young man. Doesn't say a whole lot. Lead by example type of guy. And, I think he'd be the first to, give a shout out to everybody that makes it happen for him, for you to mention his name. Our offensive line, the guys that are working hard for him. Aiden Wise, Kason Agnew, Leland Rogers, Elijah Roberts, Josiah Hall, Jonathan Waller, all those guys. And, I tell you, it's been a lot of fun seeing Caleb progress and come out of a torn ACL that he had before his junior year. He just wasn't himself last year. He played really hard and had some flashes, but you could tell that, he was 6 months out of, surgery. And so, he's fully healthy now and really proud of what he's been able to do.
It takes about a year, doesn't it, really, a full year to kind of really overcome everything, including mental, I guess, too.
Yeah, I think, depending on your body, Caleb's 195 pounds, about, 5'9", 5'10", and, the ability to cut on a dime, I think, doesn't come back in 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the offensive line, and I'll tell you, well, like in football games, I try my best to throw out some names that the guys that are blocking for these guys. But from what I can tell, you guys, your offensive front is doing a really good job in every game that we've seen. We've seen one of your games already. But you got to be proud of them and both line, really the defensive line as well.
Yeah, I'm proud of the job that they both did last night, and I tell you, it's in this county, that's where it starts. It starts up front on both sides, and I very proud, like I said, of our offensive line and the job they've done, each week so far. And our defensive line, I'm equally as proud of them. We bring back, 2 guys from last year, and we've got another senior who was a captain last night, and Julian Albright, and, he's a senior. And we have several seniors, John, that, are really playing football for the first time as seniors. And to me, that's so special that, we've got a handful of them. We've got 6 or 7 guys that, are starting for the first time as seniors and are just program guys and never complain. You don't hear from their parents. You're not worried about them, going to another school, which is kind of the new fad. I'm not happy. I'm not playing as a sophomore, junior, and I'm going to take matters into my own hands. These guys love our school. Their parents understand the value of a degree from, Stewarts Creek High School, a diploma. And to me, that's what makes this team so much fun for me to be around is, we've got a very unselfish bunch. And when you have those guys that have a heart of a senior, man, it's really special to be around. And it's been a lot of fun for us as a staff to, pour into those guys this year.
And they've had to work to get where they are now. And I think they appreciate that. It just makes for a different mindset for those guys.
Oh, without question.
I want to mention Jerry Taylor, and I'm going to mention the coaching staff a little bit, and I'll give you kudos too. But you're mixing the game up well. Jerry Taylor last night was 9 of 13 for 153 yards. He's a dual threat. He's a tremendous runner. That dual threat, but I know that he's made strides as a quarterback in passing the football too.
Oh, there's no doubt, and Jerry's one that you've got to be able to account for both on every snap, and there's a lot of things we do that give him the opportunity to do both. Last night we kind of wanted to limit that after a pretty physical Blackman game, and for the most part we were able to do that. But Jerry's, he's done a great job of commanding our offense, just having that, disposition about him where, nothing's too big or too small, and he's able to adjust as the game goes on and give great feedback and give our offense a chance to be successful and move the chains. And, we'd like to think that we can, execute, first down to first down. And also he gives you the ability to, kind of score at any time as well, in the big play. So I'm really pleased with what he's been able to do, not just on the field, but from a leadership standpoint as well.
He's a big kid. He's imposing as a quarterback. You don't see that a lot of times in high school.
Yeah, he's a competitor. Yeah. He's a point guard in basketball, and he's a gamer, and just has a great look in his eye under the lights on Fridays.
Jeremy Smith is a name that I want to throw out there. 6 receptions for 113 yards. That's quite an achievement itself, and scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Jeremy's another guy that, got names like Otay and Kenny Jordan, kind of he didn't get his chance really to showcase, his abilities. This year, man, he's taken full opportunity as a senior to, just go out there and make it happen in a lot of different ways. He's another guy. He's on punt. He's on kickoff. There's nothing, no job that's too big or too small for a guy like Jeremy, and he's another one of these unselfish seniors that, it's just really been a true joy to coach.
Taj Roseburger had an interception return for a touchdown. I mean, things just went really well.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you that to ask because I know you're going to say, but there's things we've got to work on. Okay, go ahead.
There are. We were up 14-0, had the ball 1st and 10 on the almost in the red zone. Then we had 25 yards of penalties, and so ended up having to punt there, which was really frustrating. And then, we were returning a punt and it bounced, and we tried to field it, and right about as we fielded it, we didn't field it and kind of lost an offensive possession there. And overall, I think with the 40 snaps that we did have, I think that we were able to execute on offense. And I tell you, that starts with our defense putting us in great positions, in great field position. And so all 3 phases have got to flow together, in order to, put up a goose egg like we were able to do last night.
Ben Caudill, our guest here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, wrapping things up with him. You're 2-1 right now, and you are one of the ones that said Tullahoma's tough. Tullahoma is a tough, and that was a big win for you guys. And it's kind of coming to fruition that, yeah, they're pretty good. Then you had a game with Blackman I think could have gone either way. You had some special team mishaps, and that turned that game a little bit. But overall, 2-1 coming in here is still. I know it's more work to be done, but you got to be kind of liking where you're sitting at this point.
Well, I tell you what, I believe in our locker room. I believe in our leadership. I believe in our coaching staff and just our belief that we've got to get better this week, regardless of who we're playing. Obviously, we have a tremendous opponent in Rockvale, on the road. But this team is one that believes in what we're trying to do. Sometimes teams and parents and, whoever their street agent is, they got a lot of voices in their ears. And so, but this team, I tell you, they are a yes sir, no sir bunch, and they care about our program. They care about our school. They care a lot more about, the Stewarts Creek brand than their own personal brand. And so that's got to be the case this week, because going on the road at Rockvale, is going to be a huge challenge. They're really talented, probably the most top-end talent that we might see, the rest of the season. Multiple SEC offers, 2 Division I linemen, got a very athletic quarterback, and we're going to have to be really focused this week.
They bring huge crowds. They're like Stewarts Creek, too. It's almost like a carbon copy. Huge crowds at Rockvale. Got to face that music, too, a little bit as well.
Oh, hey, there's no doubt. I remember back in 21, they came after me pretty good in the parking lot, so I'm going to have to, make sure I'm not by myself going back to the locker room this year. They're passionate over there.
They really are. And, okay, so I'm going to wrap things up here. I know they said there were some things you needed to work on, but you kind of got the offense clicking. It seems like it's been very consistent for you. Final question: are you kind of pleased with what you've seen so far out of them?
Yeah, I am. We've got the biggest challenge that we gave them last night was we needed to execute in the third quarter. We, had a fumble on the 5-yard line against Tullahoma, and last week we, just did not play well at all. Our first possession or two, after halftime, and so that's the biggest thing that I, was encouraged by last night, and we've got to continue to, figure out, what presentation works, for us on a given week, and we've got a huge task ahead of us, this week with a great Rockvale team in all 3 phases, and we're going to need to put a great plan in place, no question.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you. I won't see you for a couple of weeks now, but we'll talking again soon.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, that's Coach Ben Caudill, the head coach of the Stewarts Creek Redhawks. Up next, it's going to be Rockvale, but before we do that, I've got to tell you about Little Caesars Pizza with 4 Murfreesboro locations: Memorial Boulevard, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford Boulevard, and Old Fort Parkway. Get hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars. Coming up, Rockvale High School.
Life's too short to stress about insurance. That's why Ray Call at Rayburn Insurance is here to make sure you have the right coverage without all the hassle. He'll work hard to provide you with personalized service and finding the best solutions for you and your family. Whether you're looking for auto, home, or business insurance, Rick Hall's got you covered. Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. Let him handle the details so you can focus on what really matters.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro.